Well, here goes nothing, I told myself as I climbed inside a rail car full of cattle to head south to the next town. As I closed the rail car door, I felt something like a whip hit my back. I turned quickly to discover that I had just been tail whipped by one of my passenger friends. "How now, brown cow?" I asked her, even though she was a white cow with black patches. "Since we will travel together, I hope we can be friends." I heard the train whistle blow, and I could feel the rail car wheels starting to grind on the tracks. 20 miles to Silver, the conductor yelled out as we began to move. That would be an hour and a half by country train standards. I got into the rail car. The first thing my instincts tell me is that I'm standing in straw, which has to be filled with cow patties by the smell of it. Well, at least the rail car has windows to give me some air. My next thought was, this has to be the craziest thing that I've ever done in my entire life. Felt pretty exciting. If I had taken the northbound train, it certainly would have been a lot more comfortable. I mean, riding in an actual passenger coach. However, that was not my destination. I was traveling to a town named Silver. Now entering the town of Silver, our train slowly comes to a screeching halt and a big jerk. At the same time, my passenger friends let out a chorus of moos. I have to get out of here before anyone notices that all of us are not cows. "Well, here goes nothing," I said as I slid the railcar door open and stepped outside. I closed the door quickly and said goodbye to my good friends. I received a resounding chorus of moos, almost as if they understood me. As far as I know, I was unnoticed. I began walking down the sidewalk like nothing ever happened. "I need to get myself cleaned up and buy some new clothes," I said to myself. There are some nice shops in this town. Then I noticed something strange. When I walked past someone, they would pinch their nose and gasp, "Oh no, I must smell like cow manure. Now what can I do? I can't go into a store smelling like this." I saw a firehouse with a fireman cleaning a beautiful red fire truck outside. I decided to do another crazy thing. I walked up to the fireman, and then he stepped back and said, "No offense, buddy, but you smell like crap." "I know," I told him. "I was wondering if you could do me a favor and help me with this situation." The man asked, "What can I do?" "Would you please spray me down with your fire hose?" I kindly asked him. "Are you serious?" the man replied. "Yes," I told him. "To get rid of that odor?" "Gladly," he said. "And it sounds like fun, too. Not for you, probably, but I'll enjoy it." And we both laughed. He set the water pressure low so he wouldn't blow me across the street. I thanked him for that. When he got done spraying me down, he started laughing even harder than before. I asked him what he was laughing about. He had to catch his breath from laughing so hard. "You know, all you had to do was ask, and you could have used our shower with soap and water. Anyway, the offer still stands," he said. "Go in there and clean yourself up. There's an extra set of clothes that we always keep in locker number 8. Help yourself," he said. "My name is Randy," I told him. He said that his name was Jake. After cleaning myself up, I walked past Jake, who was busy waxing the fire truck. While leaving, I told him, "You must have the cleanest, most beautiful fire truck in the entire state." "Why, thank you," Jake said. "I do, at least in the closest 6 counties. I wasn't sure what he meant, but I thought that was cool. "Oh, Jake, could you recommend a place where I could grab lunch?" "Maggie's Diner," he replied. "It's just a couple of blocks down the street on the corner. They have the best fish sandwiches around." "Sounds great," I told him. "I will catch you later when you don't have a fire hose in your hand." And we both laughed. I began walking down the street to grab a fish sandwich at Maggie's Diner. I felt much more confident this time. I could walk past people without them gasping for air. It was a strange feeling because I felt so comfortable here in Silver. A town without a ville, V-I-L-L-E, at the end of the town's name is still a mystery to me. I was deep in thought about the origin of the town's name when suddenly a beautiful sheepdog ran up to me. "Hey, boy," I said. "How are you doing today?" A woman, apparently his owner, was following behind him to catch up. The woman approached me and apologized. "I don't have him on a leash, but he always stays by my side. He must like you a lot," she said. "Well, the feeling is mutual," I told her. "He is such a beautiful sheepdog," and she thanked me. "Where are you headed?" she asked. "I'm getting ready to grab lunch at Maggie's diner. I am starved." "My Aunt Maggie owns the diner," she said, "and I help her out part-time. Do you mind if I join you for lunch?" she asked. "Aunt Maggie makes the best fish sandwiches around." "So I hear," I told her. Where did you hear that from?" "Oh, someone in town," I told her. "That is a story for another time, though. Let's grab some lunch. My name is Randy." She laughed and introduced herself as Mandy. She told me that her family has a lot of M's at the beginning of their first names. We were having lunch together and engaging in light conversation when a man came into the diner, pulled out an old silver coin, and asked me, "How did you manage to grab lunch with my girl crush?" "I will give you my old silver coin if you let me know." I said, "Excuse me?" Mandy said, "Don't mind him. His name is Henry. Henry has liked me since elementary school. I never give him the time of day. He knows that, and he likes to harass me about it." "Henry, this is our new friend Randy." Henry and I shook hands. Then he pulled his silver coin back into his pocket. "Well, I guess I'll have to just keep my silver coin. It was a pleasure to meet you, Henry," I told him. "Nice to meet you too," said Henry. Then he said, "Catch you two later. Randy, don't be a stranger around here," he said. "Stop it, Henry," Mandy told him. After Henry left, Mandy told me that he was harmless. I told her that I got that impression. "Since you are new in town, do you have a place to stay?" Mandy asked. "No, not really," I told her. "Tell you what," Mandy said, "my brother owns an apartment complex on the other side of town. Let me drive you over there, and we'll see if I can set you up. I know there is at least one apartment open that he's been working on getting ready to rent out." "Sounds good to me," I told her. We arrived at the apartment complex, which looked very nice. We went inside and climbed the stairs to the third floor, where we found her brother doing some finishing electrical work. "Hello, brother," she said. "Hi, sis. Who's your friend?" "This is Randy. Randy, my brother Matthew." "Yep. The first names of the men in our family also begin with the letter M," Mandy said as she laughed. "Nice to meet you, Randy," her brother said. "It is my pleasure," I told him. "Hey, bro," Mandy said, "do you have this apartment rented out yet?" she asked. "Nope," he said. It'll not be rented out until I finish some electrical work." Then he laughed after he had finished what he was doing and said, "All done." "Would you be interested in renting this apartment to this fine man?" Mandy asked. "He just arrived in town and needs a place to stay. He isn't sure how long he will be here. I will need a deposit for the room. It's business, you know. No offense." "None taken," I told him. "The apartment is very nice, and I'll take it." After paying for the deposit, Matthew tossed me a set of keys. "Thanks, Matthew," I said. "I greatly appreciate it." "Thanks, loving brother," Mandy told him. "See you later, sis. All yours, Randy." "Now I'm off to work at the Silver Herald," Mandy said. "I write a small column there called Mandy's Mutterings. I cover some of the local events that happen here in town and try to get the facts on any town gossip. I'm glad I didn't have to work the diner today, and we had a chance to meet," she told me. "Me too," I said, "and it's been an enjoyable day." "Would you like to meet me at the diner again around noon tomorrow for lunch?" Mandy asked. "I get an hour's break. I would like to show you a few places in town and show you where I work. I can send someone to pick you up." Since it's only about 5 blocks away, I'd rather walk, I told her. I almost said, sounds like a date, but I caught myself just in time. See you tomorrow around noon, Mandy, I told her, and as she was leaving. See you then, she said. Get a good night's rest, Randy. You too, I told her. Now I need to get myself some shut-eye and enjoy this nice apartment. What a contrast from riding in a rail car full of cattle to being in my nice apartment. It just seems too good to be true. The next morning, I woke up and showered. Then I thought, this sure beats getting sprayed by Jake's fire hose. He told me that he turned the fire hose to low, but it still stung quite a bit. At least it made his day, mine too, for that matter. I stepped outside and it hit me how fresh the air was here in Silver, and what a wonderful experience I had yesterday. And I began to get myself worried. I met Mandy almost at the same spot as yesterday, and there was her dog Silver to greet me. Hey guys. Hi Randy, Mandy said. Did you get a good night's rest? I sure did, I told her. How about you? I did too, replied Mandy. How about your buddy Silver? I asked her. Oh, he always has a little hyperness in him. I don't believe that he requires too much rest. He just wants to keep going and going. What would you like to order at the diner for lunch, Randy? Are you kidding? A fish sandwich and fries, of course. I'll go for that too, Mandy said. No sooner did we get our food, and guess who came in? Yep. Henry walks in and does the same spill as before. Is this Groundhog's Day? I asked. Just kidding. Henry said, I won't bother you two lovebirds. Mandy said, you already did. And all of us laughed. After Henry left, Mandy looked at me and asked, What's wrong, Randy? I said that I was fine, but she could tell that I wasn't. Yesterday was such a wonderful day, I told her. I've been telling myself that all of this seems too good to be true. Everyone here in Silver has been so kind to me. She smiled and looked at me and said, That's what we do here in Silver. Don't think so much and just enjoy the moments in life. I've learned that we don't have to know all the answers to all the questions. If we did, we wouldn't be able to enjoy moments just like this. You're right, I told her. I do apologize. No need, Mandy told me. Now let's enjoy this wonderful lunch, and then I'll show you around town a little. After we had walked through a few shops, we came to the Silver Herald. Mandy took me inside and introduced me to her editor. Hi, Mandy, he said. What's the scoop? He asked her. And who is this good-looking fellow with you? You always ask me what's the scoop. And what do I always tell you, Gramps? He answered, I will let you know when I find out. Right, he mumbled. This is my friend Randy, she told him. Randy, this is my editor. We just call him Gramps. Sometimes we call him Grumpy. Quit that, Gramps said. I've never been grumpy in my entire life. Hello, Randy, Gramps said. Welcome to Silver. Thanks, I replied. I am showing Randy my office space. That is perfectly fine, said Gramps. Then he went back to working at the printing press. I have to get the paper ready to print, Gramps barked out. See, I told you that he can be grumpy. Mandy said as she laughed, but Gramps stayed focused on the task at hand. Mandy became a little excited and asked, Hey, Randy, would you be interested in a job at the Herald? I'm not sure my heart can take any more wonderful things happening, but yes, I replied, I definitely would. What did you have in mind, Mandy? And is this some kind of a setup? We both laughed. I haven't had this much fun and laughter for a long time, I told Mandy. She replied, Me neither. We desperately need a photographer here at the Herald, said Mandy. Do you have any experience in photography? Yes, I told her. Someone took a picture of me once, and I broke the camera. You're so funny, Randy, she said. I've taken a few photographs along the way with a decent camera I purchased for my trip, I told her. They turned out pretty decent. You're hired, Mandy told me. Mandy yelled out, Hey, Gramps, we have a photographer.
Yippee!
Yippee, he shouted. Mandy told me I would take pictures of local events like graduation, school plays, when Gramps falls off a ladder. Gramps grumbled back, I heard that. And of course the upcoming Fireman's Festival, which includes our fire truck judging contest. There are 6 counties represented. Our hometown Silver Firehouse has won first place for the past 3 years. Jake, the fire chief, takes it very seriously. So that is what Jake was talking about, I thought to myself. Thanks so much, you guys, I told them. I don't know what to say. Say that you'll take some photographs, barked out Gramps. I'll do my best, sir, I told him as Mandy and I quietly laughed to ourselves. Now I have to head back to the diner, said Mandy. Enjoy your day, Randy. Take some time today to get to know Jake at the firehouse. Let him know that you are our new photographer for the paper. Wait, Mandy, what are you doing when you get off work tonight? I don't have any plans, she said. I'd like to invite you over to my new apartment for dinner. That sounds great, she said. I'll see you around 6, Mandy said. Since I had enough time today, I decided to explore the town. I came across a sign that said Silver Memorial Library. I'm sure they'll have some great resources on the history of silver. I entered the library and walked up to a stern-looking librarian working behind the circulation desk. She didn't even look up at me at first. When she finally looked up, she put her left hand under her chin and asked, "May I help you?" in a stern voice. I told her I was new in town and would like to learn more about the history of silver. She said, "Of course you're new here. You don't think I was just born yesterday, do you?" I choked up a little and stuttered a little. "No, ma'am." Just after saying that, her face showed a nice smile. I realized she was just used the sternness as a front. Of course, it is fitting for a librarian to have some edge to them. "My name is Randy," I told her. She said, "Randy, my name is Gladys. Welcome to Silver. I'll show you the best resource that we have available." Gladys walked me back to a small desk. There was a laptop computer sitting on the top of the desk. She said, "Here you go, Randy. All of the history about silver is on this laptop. Make yourself at home," she told me. "Also, there's a pen and notepad if you need them." I thanked her and sat down, excited to see what I could learn. In my research, I discovered that silver began as a mining town. However, it was mining for coal, not silver. There wasn't even a town at that time. It was simply a location where workers would stay and pitch their tents. A railway was coming through. That explains the north and southbound trains that run in and out of town. The population grew as they began laying tracks and digging for coal. Houses or shacks were being built to provide comfortable accommodations. Family units started to form in this location and the surrounding area. A train depot was built and eventually the town was founded. At that time, they named it Bakersville, after the Baker family who owned the coal mines. As fuel sources began to change, coal was not as useful, so the coal mines shut down. That caused a mass exodus of people living here. The ones that stayed simply loved it, and they loved the area and saw its potential. I scrolled down a little bit and something caught my eye. A newspaper article written by Mandy Malone entitled "A Town Named Silver." There was a picture of a grandma telling a story to a little girl. The article read, "The wonderful story of our hometown Silver." It all began with a grandma's story to a little girl. Grandma's story would always start with telling the little girl, "Now, this is a true story." The little girl would always be mesmerized by her story. "Do you believe in Indians?" she would ask her granddaughter. "Yes, Grandma," the little girl would reply. "Something happened here right after the Civil War," Grandma would tell her. "What is the Civil War?" the little girl would ask. "I'll tell you that story another time," Grandma would say. "This story is about Indians and silver. Would you like to hear that story?" "Yes," the little girl would reply. "Well, just after the Civil War, a small army of Union soldiers traveled through our town," said Grandma. "As they began to make as she began to make the story more intense. They were guarding a very special wagon filled with silver coins. The entire inside of the wagon was filled with coins. It was so heavy that it took powerful horses to pull it. That's when it happened. A band of Indians attacked the wagon. The little girl would jump. The Union soldiers fled and were never to be seen again. The Indians kept the horses in the wagon with the silver coins inside. You won't believe what happened next. Or maybe you will, Grandma would say. You are special that way. What happened next, Grandma? The little girl would ask. They took the wagon and silver and buried it right here in our town. The Indians had a legend that this would happen. The legend said they would bury a treasure that would make many people happy. The Indians felt as if they were already happy and free. They loved nature and lived off the land. The Indians could use the horses, however, they didn't need the wagon or the silver coins. Something happened to the Indians and they never returned. Nobody knows what happened to them, Grandma told the little girl. The little girl would reply, Poor Indians. The grandmother passed away when the little girl turned 7 years old. The little girl told herself that she would never forget that story and that she would never stop believing that her grandmother's story was true. The little girl would go around town with her shovel and dig. The people in town thought it was cute. She would tell them, I'm digging for buried treasure. They were familiar with the legend, but no one believed it. A man named Mr. Langston owned some land in town. There were houses on either side of the land. Mr. Langston inherited the land, but never built a house there. He loved his old house too much. He let the kids in town play on his land, and they had so much fun. In the winter, the children would sled down that hill. It was a huge hill to the kids anyway. One summer when the little girl turned 10, she decided to dig on top of the hill. She had been feeling discouraged about her grandmother's story by this time. She had dug all around town and found nothing. Some folks from town, especially her classmates, began to make fun of her, and some of the townspeople were a little upset that she would dig up some of their flowers. The little girl started thinking, if anyone sees me digging, I'll just tell them I'm making a sandcastle. Then it happened. Her shovel hit something. She thought it was probably a rock. However, when she brought it out of the dirt, there was an old but still shiny silver coin. She couldn't believe it. Now she felt like her grandma's story was real again. Now the most difficult thing happened. She knew that she had to keep this secret to herself, so she hid the silver coin in a secret place in her bedroom and didn't tell a single soul. The little girl would smile so much when she'd walk through town. Everyone would ask, why are you so happy? The little girl would reply, I have a secret. They would say, that's wonderful, sweetie. The little girl knew she had to keep her secret until she was old enough to know what to do. When the little girl turned 25, so many things had changed. She began feeling like something inside of her was missing, something she needed to do, but she couldn't figure out what it was. See, by this time, the little girl had completely forgotten Grandma's story. She completely forgot about the old silver coin. Life had become so busy with college and everything else. One day, feeling overwhelmed, her mind went back to her childhood. She thought about how much fun it was growing up in Silver. That is when she remembered that there was something special about her room, but she couldn't figure it out. She began searching for something. She wasn't even sure what she was searching for, but she felt this overwhelming excitement. As if it were by instinct, she reached under her bed and found a small wooden keepsake box. She opened up the box and reached inside of it. Inside was that old silver coin. Her heart began to race, and the excitement went through her like electricity. I finally found out what I was looking for, she exclaimed. I figured out what I was supposed to do with my life. She ran to Mr. Langton's house. Langton's house and passed people, trying to say hello to them while on her way. She knocked on Mr. Langston's door. He answered. "My goodness, I thought there was an earthquake," he said. "Have you ever decided what you wanted to do with your land on 4th Street?" she asked him, trying to catch her breath. He said, "Honestly, I forgot I even had that land. I paid someone in advance to take care of it for me. I'm getting older and don't have that much time or ambition to do anything with it." "Mr. Langston, is there anything you have always wanted to do but never had a chance?" the girl asked. He replied, "I have always wanted to vacation on a beautiful beach. I would sit there, watch the people, enjoy the beautiful sunrise and sunset." "What would you say if I could make that dream come true?" she asked him. Mr. Langston choked up a little and said, "That would make an old man so happy." "How would that be possible?" he asked her. "I'm interested in buying the lot from you, Mr. Langston," she replied. He said, "But everyone in town knows that you have saved your money up for college and to start your career in a big city." "I don't want to live and work in a big city," she told Mr. Langston. "This is my hometown, and I want to live and I want to grow old here." Mr. Langston and the young woman made a deal on the land. She felt a little dishonest because she was buying it to find out if there was treasure, but she also realized it was certainly a long shot. She hired an excavating crew to come out and level the land. However, she didn't tell them anything about any potential treasure. She drove them crazy by supervising every little move they made. She told them that she wanted them to move slowly and carefully. One day, the man operating the tractor was pushing some dirt around, and he hit something. The young girl yelled, "Stop!" The man almost fell off his tractor. He helped her move some dirt away by hand and found something round and wooden hidden under the dirt. As they removed more dirt, it appeared to be a wagon wheel. She was so excited and told the man on the tractor that no more excavating was needed. He said, "Okay, young lady, whatever you say, it's your time and money." She thought, "Boy, I sure hope it is." She contacted the Morgan City Heritage Society, which was located a few towns away from Bakersville. She told them about her story and asked if they would come out to investigate the site. Before she knew it, they had a crew working by hand, moving dirt from around the wagon wheel. They worked in pairs all around the hill, gradually uncovering more and more of what they realized was a Union wagon. They were so excited about the find. The work took almost a month. The canopy of the wagon was completely rotted into the soil. However, it was amazing how well preserved the wagon was. The wagon was what the society was interested in, and she told them that she would donate the wagon to the Morgan Heritage Society. They were thrilled. The society said that it could be restored. What a find. The dirt had not been removed from the inside of the wagon yet. They worked diligently around the perimeter of the site. As they began removing the dirt from the inside of the wagon, they came across something solid. Besides wood, they worked carefully and then realized that the complete inside of the wagon was full of silver, somehow wonderfully preserved. The workers who originally came across the discovery yelled, "Hey, lady, you have to come over and take a look at this. You won't believe it. You may want to keep what we just found for yourself." She quickly ran over, and they showed her the silver coins they had brushed away from the top of the dirt inside the wagon. She told them, "You know what? I do believe." They were confused but excited for her. After everything was excavated and the wagon donated to the society, she had the massive amount of silver coins cleaned and appraised. The value was over $500,000, not even telling the historical value. She donated a coin to each worker and even the man on the tractor who began the project. She also donated 7 coins to the society to display. Those coins represented the 7 towns nearby, including Bakersville. Every person living in town received a silver coin. When a baby was born, they would receive a silver coin. She had saved enough because there were so many. When a new person or family settled in our town, each would get a coin. She didn't cash them all in for that purpose. She set up a special fund at the bank to take care of any of the people in town who were in need. Mr. Langston was able to have the vacation of a lifetime. All of his expenses were paid. An account was set up for him so any of his needs would be taken care of. The townspeople were so excited and thankful that they had a council meeting to come up with ideas of what they could do for the young woman. She told them that there was nothing special that needed to be done. One of the councilmen came up with an idea of allowing her to rename the town. No one likes the name Bakersville anyway. People have complained about it for years. It was unanimous, and they would not take no for an answer. The name came to her right away, Silver. Silver, they said. Oh, because of finding the silver. She laughed and said, no, if the town's name is Silver, it'll help me remember my grandmother and her wonderful true story. They all agreed and said that it was perfect. End of article by Mandy Malone. Oh, that was an amazing story, and Mandy did a wonderful job covering it, I thought to myself. Now I had better get ready for my big date with Mandy. I needed to go to the store to get everything needed to make my world-famous spaghetti and meatballs. World-famous to me, that is. When Mandy got off work, she came over, and we had a wonderful dinner. She loved my spaghetti and meatballs. She wanted to use my recipe as an addition to the menu at her aunt's diner. I felt very honored, I told her. After dinner, Mandy asked me if I wanted to take a walk to a park just down the street. I told her that sounded great. I have to work off some of these carbs. When we got to the park, Mandy asked if I could push her on the swing. It was so much fun acting like kids again. Then she said, "It's your turn." I hesitated, but thought, oh, why not? After my turn on the swing, Mandy said, "Okay, now close your eyes." I did, and she came around to the front of the swing and planted a big kiss on my lips. Wow, that was not expected, I told her. Great things happen in Silver, she said. "Mandy, you are a treasure," I told her. Then all of a sudden her expression changed, and she looked very sad and confused. "What's wrong, Mandy?" I asked. "I didn't mean to say anything to upset you." "It was nothing," Mandy said, as she walked away from me and sat on a park bench. She began to cry. As I went over to comfort her, she said, "I thought you were the one." "I have no idea what that means, Mandy," I told her. "Are you just like the others who have come into this town?" she asked. "Please explain to me what you mean, Mandy. Others have come here attempting to steal from our town," she said. "You know the town's name stands out. Do you mean that others have come here to steal silver coins?" I asked her. "See," she said, "how did you know I was talking about actual silver?" "Oh, wait, let me try to sort this out, Mandy. You became upset because I said you are a treasure, is that right?" "Yes," she said, while still crying. "Do you believe I'm some kind of pirate or something?" "No, not really," she said. "So you've had other guys come here trying to steal from the town?" I asked her. "Exactly how many were there?" "Well, there were only a few, but one is too many," she said. "Okay, please let me explain my side of the story, Mandy." I got my handkerchief out and dried her eyes. "Mandy, I used to work as a mechanical engineer. I worked at the World Trade Center and led a small team there. I was absent from work when 9/11 happened. I was very ill and had to miss work that day. My team was there finishing a project that we had been working on. I lost my whole team that day, and it was pretty devastating." "I'm so sorry," Mandy replied. "Was there anyone special in your life, Randy?" Mandy asked. "Yes, her name was Cindy, and she was part of my team. We were very close friends, and it was looking like it could turn into a serious relationship. I lost her that day, too." "When I left you at work earlier today, Mandy, I went to the library and did some research about the town. I met a librarian named Gladys, that is when I came across the article you published about how the town was renamed Silver. Your article is wonderful. I hope that you understand I didn't mean anything bad by what I said. I'm the one who needs to apologize, she replied, for drawing the wrong conclusion. In Silver, we shouldn't do that. I'm so sorry, she said. No harm done, I told her. So now you don't believe that I'm a pirate? I asked jokingly, followed by a loud "Arr." Mandy began to laugh. You don't fit a profile of a pirate, she said, while laughing. What is this thing about me being the one, though? I asked her. I've been waiting for someone special to come into my life, she said. You know, like a knight in shining armor. Well, I didn't come into town as a knight in shining armor, but I did ride into town in a metal rail car full of cattle, I told her. She laughed and said, I'd love to hear that story. Here's how my story goes. Mandy, I freelanced until I decided to leave the city. I knew that I wanted to go west. Mandy lightly punched me in the arm. Well, that's the only direction you could go, she laughed. When I came across Silver on the map, something intrigued me. A town named Silver had to be seen. I didn't feel like I was desperate to leave the city. It felt more like I was destined for something else. You know the feeling, Mandy. So I took a bus. I got to the depot outside of Silver, and you found out that was the only way into town, Mandy said. Yep. I found out the hard way and the stinky way, I told her. The man at the train station told me that the passenger rail cars were full for the train going to Silver, but you can hitch a ride for free in one of the livestock rail cars, he told me. People do it all the time, he said. I didn't believe him and replied, no, thank you. I'll wait for the next train. Suit yourself, he told me. When is the next train? I asked. Oh, in about 2 weeks. You can take the northbound train. There are plenty of room there, the man said. I thought for a moment. The northbound train is headed to the mountains where I could live more a quiet life and secluded life. Once I thought that through, I realized that would not be for the best. It was very tempting, especially in my current situation. However, I was on a mission. I thanked the man at the depot and told him I would have to figure out what to do. That's a long walk to Silver, he said, as he laughed and pointed at me. Enjoy your ride, he said, and gave me a wink. I walked around for a while and then decided, when no one was looking, to go for it. So that's how you ended up traveling in a livestock rail car? That is too funny, Mandy said while laughing. That is how I met Jake. He sprayed me down with his fire hose to get the stink off of me. He even let me borrow some clothes. This story's getting better all the time as she started laughing so hard. And then we embraced for what felt like a wonderful eternity. Hold out your hand, Mandy said. And not close my eyes? I asked. No way. So I closed my eyes and held out my hand. I felt her put something in my hand. Then she said, open your eyes. I was holding an old silver coin. Welcome to Silver, Mandy said. I immediately replied, my hometown. By the way, Mandy, you were that little girl, weren't you? She smiled and said, that is a secret I have to keep to myself. End of story by Keith Cassill.